Hello everyone and welcome back to the Sportsman Bet. My name is Stephen Howson. Today I am joined as always by my mate Anton. You alright?
Yeah, not so bad mate, not so bad.
Today we are going to be covering Has Sarri lost it? We are going to be talking about some big bet winners that we've had in the last week. We are also going to be looking at the FA Cup and the pick of the games therein. We've also got our bets for this weekend, and I know it feels like I'm going in on them all the time, but Spurs have got another injury woe as Dele Alli joins the rest of them on the physio table. So is Sarri about to commit managerial suicide?
Well, we saw the performance last week at Arsenal and it was not good at all in my opinion, and he's making a major mistake in playing Hazard and Kante, the two best players, out of position. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, normally the wheels do come off at Chelsea. That's kind of their thing, isn't it? That's what they like to do. But they generally have a league title in the bag after they've done that, or before they've done that. So it's a weird one because they started off so well.
Yeah.
Jorginho looks this linchpin. They're playing this really oppressive possession-style football. They changed it around so much completely from what it was under Conte. And you're like, Sarri's getting loads of plaudits, but the wheels have come off fast and hard.
And one of my questions is, are the players actually buying into this system? And he seems to be blaming everyone but himself. He slated the players last week, he slated the transfer policy, and he slated refs, and that will not go down well with the board at Chelsea.
It's not like Abramovich doesn't know where the big red button is, because he's guys sacking people more than Alan Sugar.
No, he's not frightened of pressing that button, not one bit.
As we said at the top of the show then, Spurs injury woes. Obviously they've got Son at the Asian Cup, they've got Harry Kane looks like he's out, now Dele Alli as well. Are the wheels about to come off for Spurs?
Things seem to be going from bad to worse for Spurs. I know they got that last minute winner away at Fulham last week and that was massive for me, but you're looking at the side now and they're nowhere near as strong as what they've been.
Very interesting to see how Spurs deal with what's going on with them there, and you know, we don't think they're probably going to spend any money either because that's what they like to do.
The thing was, they got slated in the summer for not buying anyone, and for me, I agree with that policy. If you don't need them, there's no need to go out and spend stupid money on someone to sit on bench doing nothing. So for me, that was justified, and they couldn't have thought that all these injuries would come at the same time.
That's the way it goes, isn't it? But I would be devastated if I'm a Spurs fan and going, well, we've got Llorente.
And I think Janssen might be still knocking about in the under-23s as well, I was hearing, but he's not match fit.
He's also not Harry Kane. We have got FA Cup ones to watch. What's the games that you think we should be watching this week?
Well, obviously we've got the big one between Arsenal and United on Friday night. That's in there. There's Crystal Palace at home to Spurs on Sunday, and the big one that I'm really buzzing for is the Bees versus the Bees at the Hive on Monday night. Bournemouth v Brentford. Bournemouth, the lowest ranked side, still in the competition. Absolute giant killing in the last round against Sheffield United, and I'll be watching that on Monday night, buzzing.
Righty then, obviously Friday United are travelling to the Emirates. Solskjaer train is keeping going. What's the odds saying for United this weekend as they go to Arsenal? Are they keeping it? Are they going to make it 8 out of 8?
Yeah, and I think they are. They've nothing to be scared of. We know Arsenal are not bomb-proof at all. And Solskjaer respects the Cup. It's a competition he's played in before. And does Unai Emery have that same thoughts for the Cup as Solskjaer? I think United are going to nick this one.
I'm hearing that we're going to rotate, and I'm going to call it the Solskjaer forward three and the Mourinho forward three. So I said Solskjaer's forward three, it's Martial, it's Lingard, and it's Marcus Rashford, and they've been playing fantastic together.
Yeah.
And if you look at what Jose was mostly playing, it was Sanchez, Mata, and Lukaku. I'm hearing noises that United are going to roll with that as the forward three. Now that, to me, is, are we actually starting to rotate under Solskjaer, and is that a bad thing, or should we just keep it rolling as we are?
No, I do not think it's a bad thing at all, because Solskjaer has got the team motivated. These players who aren't starting every week are going to want to bust a gut to get into that first side now, and hopefully for me we're going to see this second string as such really show some desire.
The time to do that though, in the Cup.
Well, on the other hand, what side are Arsenal going to put out? We know that they've got numerous problems at the moment.
Bellerin's out.
You see their team sheet and you look at Arsenal sides of the past 20 years, and for me, it's nowhere near. They've got strong attack, but that defence needs a lot of work.
But it all went right after they appointed Emery, remember?
Oh yes, it did.
Everything changed. They went 22 games unbeaten. and nothing's changed. So, transfers then. Is there going to be some transfers happening this month? I've seen Higuain might be on the move.
And I think that is pretty much a done deal now. We know he's aged 31, and for me, if he doesn't settle straight away, we know it's only a loan, but it's a questionable deal for me.
Do you think he's the guy that's going to sort Chelsea out?
No.
Wow. Denis Suarez rumoured to be on the move to Arsenal.
Again, it's a funny one. Arsenal, plenty of wars in there, but he's not the right man for me. Wait until the summer. Don't panic buy with a January sale and pay over the odds. Not for me.
And Juan Mata, a January signing for United back in the day under Moyes. Or it probably would, let's be honest with ourselves. He's been offered a 2-year deal, or he's been offered a 1-year deal. He wants a 2-year deal. I see him surplus to requirements. I don't think he'll go in January.
Do you think he'd have a positive effect just being around that dressing room and in the squad, though, would be my angle with
How
that?
could you not love Juan Mata? He might be the loveliest guy that's ever lived. But I think in terms of usability in this team, I look at what Solskjaer's trying to build, I don't see a future for Juan Mata in it. I'm sorry.
No,
sorry,
I agree with that in a sense.
All right, time for the sack race then, and there's no surprises. At the top, it's Claude Puel. Now, Leicester fans, I'm sure the 3 Leicester fans that watch this regularly be like, when are you guys going to stop defending this clown? Because they proper don't like the guy, did they?
No, and they scored 3 goals away from home last week. They got beat 4-3 at Wolves. Absolute thriller in the lunchtime kick-off. And he's still 1-2 favourite to be the next manager to be sacked. And we mentioned about Sarri earlier on, and he's 10-1 to be the next manager to go in the Premier League. And I'd be considering that price.
10-1. That's with Roman Abramovich and their backstory.
And also,
come on, man.
Leicester don't have a game this weekend. They're beaten in the 3rd round. And if Chelsea put in a bad performance against Sheffield Wednesday on Sunday, that 10-1 will be getting snapped up. And I'd estimate that will half off a bad performance.
Silver's also at 10-1 as well. There's not really a bright future ahead there with Everton. Again, after Allardyce came in, the same sort of thing we're hearing with Emery, the same sort of thing we're hearing with Sarri. Everything's all positive, and then the wheels fall off a bit. And
we've seen on the Sportsman this week, we've been discussing Marco Silva's record compared to previous managers at Everton since the David Moyes era, and he's the lowest of the lot. Coleman, people like that, Big Sam, they've all got a better record than him in the games.
But he's the one that's like the one that they keep telling you is revolutionising Everton.
I think the word fraud might be appropriate there.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
you could just throw fraud around like that, so frivolently. While we're talking about the sack race then, Huddersfield had a new manager, but Sky Sports didn't have a good day for it.
They had an absolute nightmare, and you may have seen Jan Suvert was appointed Huddersfield boss this week, and Sky Sports thought he was actually sat in the crowd, went up to speak to him, and it was just some bloke from Wakefield. But Huddersfield, being the club that they are, they used this bloke from Wakefield in their appointment video for Jan Suvert, and check it out if you've not watched it. It's a good laugh. Well played, Huddersfield.
Let's talk about some winning bets then. Who do we have having an absolute belter of a weekend?
Well, we've seen some cracking bets this weekend, Stephen, and the highlight for me was a 670-1 fourfold that we saw on Saturday. And this was a fourfold, and the result, and both teams to score. And the bloke had Southampton to beat Everton, both teams to score.
That's crazy, for starters.
Brentford over Rotherham, that was 4-2. Stoke to beat Leeds, 2-1.
That's kind of crazy too.
And Macclesfield to beat Oldham, that was 2-1 as well. Sol Campbell doing a fantastic job. They're only 1 point from safety now. They were 10 points adrift when he first took over.
Maybe he's as good as he thinks he is.
And do you know what impressed me about that victory? It was a 2-1 victory to Macclesfield. Both strikers got on the score sheet. Last week, I think Tuesday it was, Andy Cole joined Sol Campbell at Macclesfield. You can obviously see his advice and positivity on the strikers that are flowing through, both of them getting on the score sheet. Top job.
Fair play.
Other big winners we've seen this week, we mentioned there was a 4-3 Wolves v Leicester, and we've got a 300-1 Rab request to bet, if you're not familiar with that. And that was Gray to score, Bennett to be carded, and Ndidi to be carded, and Jota to be carded. £5 returned 1,500 quid. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Sounds easy. It really isn't. Really isn't.
It really isn't.
Other tweets we've seen this week, we've also seen one linking Raheem Sterling to the style of a duck walking down the street. Absolutely quackers. But anyway, this is it. Have a look. Not bad.
As usual, none of our bets came in, although my early kickoff did come in. I mean, that was about all that came in. Yeah. So, but it is the FA Cup this week.
It is, and you know what that smell is, Stephen? It's a smell of giant killings.
Oh, I thought it stood as something.
And I feel there could be a few of those this weekend. We saw plenty in round 3, and there was more potential banana skins than a game of Mario Kart. And I've been speaking to the sportsman Squirrel this week. He's been off for a few days down at Formby Squirrel Sanctuary, meeting a few old flames from his past who've been keeping his nuts warm in what has been a very cold week.
No one likes cold nuts.
No, they don't. And anyway, the Squirrel has got a nice little double for us this week.
Why?
And the first part of that is Watford to win away at Newcastle.
Hang on. Last week you panned Newcastle, and what happened?
They won 3-0 and they scored 3 goals for the first time this season. Solomon Rondon, absolute beast, nicest man in football, another great game. But yeah, we'll forget about my bet double chance Cardiff on that game. But this week it's the FA Cup. And we know Rafa's attitude towards the Cup. He's come out and said before how it favours mid-table teams. His attitude towards it was very apparent with the sides that he played in both games versus Blackburn. Watford are doing well in the league. They don't need to worry about relegation. And for me, I can see Watford getting a win here, definitely. 11-8 looks a very attractive price according to the Squirrel. But anyway, the second part of his double is Derby to win away at Accrington Stanley.
Who?
Well, you can't actually say that anymore.
Why?
Because they're in League One and they're doing very well. And they had one of the greatest achievements in the third round of the FA Cup. They beat Ipswich 1-0 thanks to a Billy Key goal. And they will be up for this one, Will Stanley. But I can't see it happening. Derby have too much quality for them, and we know Aki are really reliant on this money.
Imagine Derby in a cup game.
But Chairman Andy Holt at Stanley, he is reliant on this money. He said he's not dipping his hand into his pocket anymore. He wants the club to be self-sufficient, and I expect a good performance from Stanley. But Derby will have too much from here. And we also could see Ashley Cole make his debut for Derby. And one other thing I will say...
Frankie Lampard's getting a band back together.
Oh yes, they're back together. Ashley Cole has more FA Cups than any other player in the history of the tournament.
Really?
7 he's got.
Loves a bit of the FA
I think
Cup.
The second highest is Peter Cech with 5, but 7 FA Cups. What an achievement. I don't know if his legs are still there, but I think he'll have a really positive effect on the dressing room. And working with Lamps, good on him.
Fair play. All right, my ACCA for this week then. Like I said, we're going for the mad one. This is 203 to 1. This isn't quite as... This is probably more conservative.
That's a banker for you.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this is about the lowest we're ever going for. So we're obviously going for United. Get that one put straight on the list. We're going for United to beat Arsenal on Friday night. And then on Saturday, we're going for Doncaster.
Yes.
We're going for City.
Yeah, they're at home to Burnley. We can see them putting a few past there.
I'm going to say there's a draw in the Newcastle and Watford game. I'm going to go a little bit different for you. And I'm going to go with Wolves, Everton, West Brom is going to be the one that takes this from about 50 and puts it into the 200. I think they are going to be... It's not really a giant... West Brom and Brighton, can't really call it a giant killing, can you? But I think that's going to be the more shocking result out of all of these. That's what I'm going for. If you like that, or you like what the Squirrel had to say, the links for those will be in the description below. Get on those, and we've also got some sign-up offers if you want to check those out in the bottom as well.
And there's also one more bet that I've got for you this week, and this comes from myself. It's my bet of the week.
Is it me to have a pizza?
Not this week.
Oh.
Anyway, it's Millwall, and they are at home to Everton. And we've already spoke about Everton's problems at the moment. Millwall, very tough place to go. Nasty place to go, if you ask me. And they've actually only lost twice.
Give a door a slam.
They've actually only lost twice at home since September. And those came against Blackburn and Birmingham. But I can see Millwall putting in a really big performance here, and they are priced at 4 to 1, which is massive. That will get snapped up, and I see them going off more at 3 to 1 on the day. So have a do on that. That is my bet of the weekend, Millwall to beat Everton. 4 to 1.
If you fancy any of those, the links for those will be in the description below. As I said, we've also got some sign-up offers. Make sure to check all of those out. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you're new around here, and we will see you next week when we've got a big pot of cash from winning.